Welcome to the show, John Wilson in the studio, talking all things Jackson, bringing you the news that you need to know. The Heads on Jackson podcast, and we're coming at you live in your city, Jackson. This is your time. Get your news from your neighbor, the people who care, unbiased and uncensored with pride, broadcasting to you live on the air. Trusted source to tell you what's happening from the city to the county line. All the news that matters. Make your own opinion about the news that affect your life. It's Home Jackson podcast, and we're coming at you live in your city, Jackson. This is your time. Get your news from your neighbor, the people who care, unbiased and uncensored with pride. Coming at you broadcasting live on the
Oh, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Hits Home Jackson with John Wilson. I'm here with John and Will. I'll let John take it over.
Well, good morning, Kevin
Morning.
and Will.
Good morning to both of you.
And thank you again for joining in with episode 6 of Hits Home Jackson with John Wilson, your trusted source from the city to the county line, and where it's always my objective to keep the responsible, law-abiding, hard-working, and retired tax-paying citizens of all of Jackson County better informed on those decisions that are being made by our Jackson City Council and Jackson County Commission. Again, Kevin, thank you for this fine number 6 podcast, and I would like to reintroduce once again our special guest, Will Hastings. Will joined us a couple months back for an episode, and he's back, and there's a reason why he's back. Will is very well informed, and he can also bring a good smile to your face.
Yeah,
That's the intent.
Yes. So this morning,
Not so much to some of our local elected officials. I seem to have the opposite effect, sadly.
we seem to give them consternation.
that's a good word.
Yes.
That's a good ST or ST, whatever. Yeah. It's too early in the morning for words.
Okay. Anyways, we're
No
going
words before noon.
I almost said STI, and I'm like, that's not the word. That's not what I'm looking for.
we're going to touch on 3 different subject matters, all kind of interconnected in one way, shape, or form. But the first will be the probable, soon to be, upcoming vote that the Jackson County Board of Commissioners will make on partnering with a local Jackson Flint entrepreneur, Sam Ramsey, along with the Enterprise Group, which calls itself now Accelerate Jackson. They're going to be partnering in applying for a $472,000 state grant that will come from the Magic Grant Tree to assist low-income housing needs. So that's number 1 subject matter. Number 2, we're going to shift over to the City Council and their recent approval this week that will allow monetary donations to be made from City of Jackson residents' income tax returns that will go towards a low-income city residents, to help these low-income city residents to pay their very, very extremely high sewer and water bills. So we'll breach that for a while. And number 3, the Consumers Energy Partnership with Residents in Action founder and CEO Tasha Carter. They've created a fund that will help City of Jackson South Side low-income residents pay their consumers' energy bill.
Oh,
So those are the three subject matters that we'll touch on today, and along with I'm sure other issues that are pertinent.
There's no shortage.
Yes,
never is. Never
there
is.
certainly isn't.
I do 2 political shows, and there's never enough time.
Right. So going back to the county commission, and this kind of came out of nowhere. An individual who is from Jackson, a graduate of Jackson High, 2017, has lived in Flint for a while, and he, I guess, is a self-proclaimed entrepreneur. Well, this entrepreneur approached County Commission Chairman Steve Shotwell and our county administrator Mike Overton and explained to them that the state has $50 million in this grant, the state grant that goes towards helping, again, low-income housing needs. It isn't anything new, not at all. And it's a good program. There are eligible, qualified, low-income residents who sometimes need a hand up to help with such things as a leaky roof, maybe a bad furnace. Those critical items that sometimes are so costly.
Yeah, I think they're choosing to brand it as new air conditioners for grandma.
Yes, and that's exactly.
I haven't heard grandma being so lovingly invoked since the height of the COVID epidemic, but there you have it. They just can't help themselves.
No, they cannot. Whether it's helping grandma buy an air conditioner or pushing grandma over a cliff, right? Or both. But anyways,
It doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. That's for
yes,
sure.
right. So again, this Mr. Ramsey, fine young man, fine enterprising young man. But as I mentioned at the county commission meeting Tuesday night, when they held a public hearing on this $472,000 application for this grant,
Yes.
and so I mentioned that Mr. Ramsey, again, being a self-proclaimed entrepreneur, should direct his energies and his talents towards private sector entrepreneurship.
There's literally nothing entrepreneurial about administering government grants of other people's money, in my opinion.
In most everyone's opinion.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to think of an example of
I
where
really
it would
wasn't
be, and I
going-
couldn't.
Mhm.
I really wasn't going out on the limb there, but you get the drift.
Yeah.
So this program to assist low-income residents with some housing needs has been around for a long time.
Uh-huh.
In fact, Chairman Shotwell mentioned that the county was once involved with the Community Action Agency 20 years ago for this same type of program. And he even listed off some successful projects that both the county and the CAA, the CAA administered to help these individuals. The Community Action Agency currently receives federal, state, and local government funding to perform this duty of helping low-income housing and their needs in case, again, they may need help with a furnace, air conditioner, or a leaky roof. So again, this is already being done.
Yeah, and you're getting right to the heart of the problem, which is you're duplicating the function of an existing entity, being CAA, to create a new nonprofit, a new structure, a new administrator. It's it's really just too much. There's really no warranting it. I mean, I think the only thing that really could maybe warrant on the part of the Enterprise Group and Accelerate Jackson is they have almost zero tangible achievement to show for their existence. They're just hanging around. They were given $100,000 to essentially write a book report about how to lift the county of Jackson into the 21st century. You know what? My wife Gina, who's watching this, when she first got this news, she basically created a report of that nature for Jackson County using AI and using prompts, and was able to key that up in about all of 60 seconds. It's not going to be any better or any worse. Okay, it's going to be $100,000 white paper that's going to hit the bottom of the drawer before the ink is dry. We all know this. All know this.
You're telling me that the government is full of redundancies and duplicates of things after things? I don't believe you one bit.
Oh, Kevin, yes, this is like Will mentioned. This is a duplication of already services provided by our taxpayers that is allocated to such entities as the Community Action Agency to, again, assist.
Well, if you want something, you have to pay for it twice, right?
Housing needs. Apparently so. Well, again, this $50 million that's sitting in Lansing, according to Mr. Ramsey, who, again, spearheaded this whole idea and got the blessing from County Commission Chairman Shotwell and Mr. Overton, Mike Overton, our county administrator. Both Shotwell and Overton sent Mr. Ramsey over to the Enterprise Group, which is now called Accelerate Jackson. They had to rebrand themselves because of their sorry past history. So they just
they're avoiding taxes. Because they're avoiding taxes or something. Probably.
They are a 5013C. I was reminded by their CEO the other night.
Maybe a more factual rebrand for Accelerate Jackson would be just to call them the guy from Columbus, Ohio, and the other guy from Bay City, Michigan. They're not from Jackson. They're passing through the Enterprise Group. Again, it's just an entity that exists. It has not provided really any productive value to the people of Jackson County. Yet the county commission, which has cried poor when it came to funding, to fully funding our sheriff's department, they've discovered the money to fund this entity. And I think that's unacceptable. And I think it really reflects poor judgment on the part of the people who keep going bat for these people month after month. And what you're seeing now with this new the Sam Ramsey factor and this proposed grant and the new entity, it's just an extension of that basic bad judgment. And they need to be leashed in. They need to be held to account. Now's the time.
Yes, we're making that attempt to do so. And this proposal, this grant application, will be finalized only with a majority vote of our Jackson County Commission. Currently, I'm just going to not even have to go out on a limb and say they have the votes. They have the votes to do so.
Yeah, I think you can name the 5 for it without even looking at that meeting's minutes or agenda. We know who the 5 are.
Right. Now let's go back to the Enterprise Group / Accelerate Jackson. Their core mission is as an economic development entity. Their core mission is to bring in businesses to Jackson, retain businesses, and they do so by offering those businesses tax breaks, cash, and whatever else is needed to, again, either retain a business or to bring in a new business to Jackson County. Now, we also had to remember the Enterprise Group is an appendage of the Michigan Economic Development Corporation.
Yes.
Both funded by tax dollars. And both not held accountable on how they spend our tax dollars. It's in the news right now with the MEDC. And they've got some things going on that, in fact, they had the Attorney General's office is now investigating the MEDC for some alleged wrongdoing.
Yeah, isn't the amount of money in question at the state level under a cloud. Isn't it $200 million? That's quite a bit of money.
How much? 200 million.
Is that correct?
200. Well, yes, it is. And 200 million today sounds like nothing compared to how it needs to be, for the most part, now addressed as billions of dollars. But
Right.
yes, it's in the millions, the hundreds of millions of dollars of
And-
questionable spending by the MEDC. And some of that spending, again, goes down to its local economic development entities throughout the state, such as Jackson's Enterprise Group.
And while I could see someone saying, "Well, we have this kind of problem everywhere," which I'm sure that we do. However, it needs to be understood that when we look at the state level, before we get back to the county level, but at the state level, Michigan is the go-to. It's really considered the national hotspot for corporate welfare. And the Whitmer, again, especially during the Whitmer years, and they went in absolute overdrive. The
Especially if you're
Goshen plant,
Chinese, right?
especially if you're Chinese, and especially if you want to hang around the Camp Grayling with your binoculars and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's really is in our state's DNA at this point, or at least until we can get it removed. But it is a big problem, and it is considerably worse here in the state of Michigan than it is elsewhere.
According to Deb Kelly, who's vice president of the Enterprise Group, Accelerate Jackson, because I did mention at the county commission meeting that, again, their core mission is economic development. Well, she stands up and to answer some questions from our county commissioners, and she wanted to inform the county commission now that the Enterprise Group is branching off into the low-income housing business. And that is why we are discussing this today, this one grant of just under $500,000. And again, this is one grant. Will the county commission take this one grant if they approved to forward this grant application off to the state? And it'll be rubber stamped, approved, of course, by the state. And if so, is it a one-time grant? So this only lasts 1 year? I highly doubt it. Once you start, we all know, once you start a government program, it never goes away. It just grows and grows.
We know that's a fact. We know that this is a test run. We know that if Mr. Ramsey is able to get this $400,000 grant, he's boasted of his grant writing skills, and for all I know, he may well be very good at that. But you're right. It will be the camel's nose inside the tent, and there'll be more and more and more, which begs the question philosophically, even if you think this grant is a good idea, it could be a benefit to certain people, which it would. But the question is, why is this being sponsored by the Jackson County Commission? Why is it being sponsored by the Enterprise Group and Accelerate Jackson, which is supposed to be an organ for encouraging and building economic growth and financial independence? This is really the flip side of the coin. It's trying to provide social services to people who are of low means and financially dependent, and will actually help incentivize more financial dependence along the way. And again, even if you support the program, the stated purpose of them is the opposite thing. It's to bring in businesses, growth, jobs, capital investment. This literally has nothing to do with it. This is sort of a group. This is just a clown car in search of a mission.
You go to the Enterprise Group website, and on there it states that they create wealth through economic development.
Oh.
Okay, well, economic development does create wealth. But this program, now that they're branching off into this new social welfare program by assisting for low-income housing needs, they are not creating wealth. They are redistributing our wealth to form and create this new social welfare program.
Yeah, which is, they're redistributing a state grant, which is funded by federal grant money, which is essentially borrowed money. We all know that the federal government is borrowing, at this point,
I was told
many billions a day.
I was
just to keep the lights on.
I was told by one county commissioner, just a one-on-one discussion, he said, this is free money. This is free money. This $472,000 is free money, and it won't cost the county anything. We've heard that before, haven't we?
Yeah.
Free money, and it won't cost the county anything. Well, it will cost, and it's not free money. We all know that.
I've always been told anything free is not worth having.
Sure. Yes. And again, I always use the term the magic grant tree. So, and that's what I said. I said, so this is $472,000 that's just falling off the magic grant tree that won't cost the county anything. How could this not cost the county anything? They are going to be administering this program along with the 501(c) quasi-government enterprise group.
Yeah, you brought up a lot of these questions. I would recommend anyone who has the means to do so to go on YouTube, take a look at your last Jackson County Commission meeting. I'd say watch as much of it as you can stomach, but if you look around, it's not hard to find. John gave an excellent, actually two long form comments in which he posed many of these same questions to the county commissioners, to the chairman, Mr. Shotwell, and they could not answer it. So you did pose the question, who would administer this? And did you get a straight answer? Did you get any answer?
No, I did not. Now, per this memo that came out from County Administrator Mike Overton, it listed Mr. Sam Ramsey as the county's CDBG grant coordinator. It also lists Deb Kelly, who's vice president of the enterprise group, as the county's liaison for this CDBG funding. I simply asked, is Mr. Ramsey and Miss Kelly both employed by the county? How did they come up with this title? Unless they just created it on their own, but it's on official county memo.
How did this come about without a vote and without the explicit approval of the county commission, our elected county commissioners as a whole? This is kind of going back a little bit to the we'll get to the water relief fund. It just sort of, you blink your eyes and you appear and there it is. And so a big part of the story of this grant and the enterprise group and Accelerate is just basic accountability. And it's, you feel like you're on a street corner in New York City and you're watching 3-Card Monte and the cups are just moving faster and faster.
Right. We've yet to hear anything on this public hearing that was held just last Tuesday night, and from the local media, nor has there hasn't been anything on WKHM in their news reports, nor has there been anything on M Live. Hopefully they'll catch on and report something on this prior to this upcoming August meeting of the full board of the Jackson County Board of Commission. This is when they will vote on whether or not to move forward on this grant application. And I encourage any and all who are a bit concerned with any of this to attend that meeting or to contact their county commissioner and voice their opinion as to what they think about this proposed grant application. Well, it's not a proposed grant application. It is a grant application that's already in the process of being completed by two individuals who are not even employed by the county. Again, Mr. Ramsey, straight off the streets of Flint, where he boasts of all different types of business venture successes that cannot be confirmed.
Well, but I wouldn't give this guy short shrift, because it's also my understanding that didn't Mr. Ramsey have a hand in helping relocate the U.S. space program to the UP of Michigan? Am I correct? Or was that claim made?
That claim, he was working on it.
I just heard that this morning. So
just did not come to fruition. That's all. He was going to make the UP the Cape Canaveral of the North.
Oh.
And so we would have rockets launching and whatever else NASA would have up there, or even Elon Musk and SpaceX. We don't know, but it has not That's one of his business ventures that just
Didn't quite come to
Well,
fruition.
I don't know the actual science behind it, but I mean, most of the places they launch rockets are like in warm climate. Can you launch rockets in Lake Superior, Upper Michigan, 18 feet of snow, or whatever happens up there? I mean, come on, there's icebergs until June in Lake Superior.
Well, Kevin's not old enough to remember this. I know John is. It's very important you bring that point up, because when we had the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded and they had congressional hearings, and one of the guys who came to the hearings was one of the most famous living scientists, this professor of I believe of physics named Richard Feynman.
Okay,
very, very famous guy, and he demonstrated why this happened is because the O-rings had iced over on the shuttle, and that's what caused the catastrophic failure. And he had like the glass of ice, and he like literally just demonstrated in front of them.
Oh,
so that's you're exactly right.
Oh,
the
okay.
UP is not a desirable place.
Well, like I said, I feel like they would have tried that, or I mean, any of the northern colder states, but they always put them in Texas and Florida, California.
I did a little
Arizona.
research. I did some research on Mr. Ramsey, and again, he's a young man with lots of energy, and it just needs to be redirected to a different source rather than trying to acquire tax dollars. Mr. Ramsey at one time had three different LLCs, and two of them are now defunct, and the third one is the housing LLC that he's using. It's called gosh darn it.
Well, you can get
Affordable
LLC.
Housing Development LLC.
Yeah, you can file for LLCs right now for
It's
$50
profitable.
on LegalZoom. They don't charge you anything.
Right.
$50.
His current LLC is Profitable Affordable Housing LLC. Isn't that kind of a oxymoron? Profitable Affordable Housing LLC.
Profitable for who?
Yeah, exactly.
And affordable for who?
Yeah, that's his current LLC. Now, he had at one time 3 LLCs, including Profitable Affordable Housing LLC, and 2 others with 5 different Jackson addresses. His office address he lists at 133 West Michigan Avenue.
Okay.
Why isn't that the Lean Rocket Lab?
It is the Lean Rocket Lab. So I did some research at Lean Rocket Lab, and he does not have any office or cubicle space leased, nor has he at Lean Rocket Lab. Now, anybody can go into Lean Rocket Lab and I guess reserve their conference room for whatever. Okay.
Huh.
Now, whether Mr. Ramsey may have done that, I'm not sure, but he has not, he does not currently have any space leased at the Lean Rocket Lab.
Huh.
So now, how would he be able to use 133 West Michigan Avenue as his office when he does not have an office there? There's a red flag. I brought up 3-4 different red flags to this county commission regarding Mr. Ramsey, and even the enterprise group with their first come, first serve basis if they do receive this grant.
Mm-hmm.
But they've stepped back from that. But anyways, so he lists the Lean Rocket Lab as his office mailing address, and then he has 3 other Jackson properties listed as his mailing address. So anyways, that's a bit of a red flag, along with his business ventures that have not come to fruition. Mr. Ramsey, again, I commend him, and I commend him for his energy, his spirit, but it's just being misdirected at this point. And our county commission has a fiduciary duty to perform their oversight before they vote next month on whether or not to bring in Mr. Ramsey to administer this $472,000 state grant.
Is he going to cash that check at like the Virgin Islands bank? Because that's usually the next thing you hear is he banks offshore.
Yes. Well, no. In fact, that's where I did ask Mr. Shotwell, Commissioner Shotwell, if this isn't going to cost the county any money, who will be overseeing these grant dollars? The answer: the county, along with Enterprise Group.
Who in the county? I ask.
Right.
Because they have no such existing
just the
program.
county, as an entity.
The county
just the
as
county.
an entity. So somewhere some money is going to be spent by the county to administer this program.
So essentially what Steve Shotwell and Mike Overton are saying is, hey, remember when we told you how tight our belt were back in December, and how we're not hiring new employees back in December, and how the cupboard is bare for the Jackson County Sheriff's Department back in December? Well, just kidding. We're hanging out the shingle for some new bureaucrats to administer essentially welfare programs for the county.
And I also brought up the fact that you had mentioned they cry poor, so they lay off some road patrol.
Mm-hmm.
Our county roads aren't in the best shape, yet they can find grant money for this program here, this new created proposed program that's, again, already being serviced by our Community Action Agency. I mentioned to the county board, if the Community Action Agency does not want to administer this program any longer, then defund whatever portion of tax dollars they get to do so from their budgets. If they don't want to administer this program to help low-income housing needs, and then have the county create a new entity to do so, a non-government entity to do so, then they need to be defunded a bit, because right now they do receive local, state, and federal tax dollars to do so, to perform this function, the Community Action Agency. So if they don't want to do it, and that's what I was told by an unnamed county commissioner that I'll leave unnamed, the CAA just does not want to do this program any longer.
And I'm thinking there'd actually be a lot of work involved, because each request for funding, you would have to be in itself, that would be an application that involves mean testing, looking at people's finances and things of that nature. And so if you're talking about, hundreds of, microloans and grants all across Jackson County, that's going to be a lot of work for someone who's going to have really fiduciary and legal expertise to do it. So I can see it basically, being a kind of onerous and kind of a pain in the backside. And again, that's the whole point. This is more deception from the Jackson County Commission, and pretending that we're just going to get this money. It's going to, grow little wings and fly out to these people in need of aid. But the larger point is that there's going to be a cost and a sunk cost going forward to administer this. And they're not being straight about this. You asked about this at the last county meeting, and all you got back from Steve Shotwell was a lot of bad attitude.
Oh, bad attitude. He came right out of his seat because I mentioned that you cry poor, you have to lay off some road patrol from the sheriff's department, some jail staff. And again, our county roads are not being funded as they should. Yet, you always find grants for...
He's got the magic grant tree.
The magic grant
tree. We already figured that one out.
Yes. And yet, there's soon next year at this time, we will have a county-run farmers market, a county-operated farmers market. Now, where did they get the money for this farmers market? From the grant tree. So I simply asked Mr. Shotwell, if you can get grants for this, you can get grants for that, why can't you get grants to help Sheriff Schutte for a county jail addition out on Channer Road? Again, we've addressed this before, for a maximum security unit and a female inmate wing out on Channer Road. And Shotwell's response was they have been denied 3 grants to do so. Now, I was also informed by another county commissioner who I will leave unnamed that, well, no, he did put it out there publicly. The reason that we were denied grants for the jail, it's political. Well, what makes it political? If grants can be approved for this new program, Mr. Ramsey's program, for a farmer's market, for walking trails that go from here to the moon and back, yet we can't get approved for a county jail grant? I don't believe it. I would like to see those 3 grant denials and who wrote those grants. We have somebody in the county who's writing out these grant applications, and I'm not talking about Mr. Ramsey. I'm talking about somebody within the county government that is a professional grant writer. And grants are very, I mean, there's a lot to writing out a grant. And so whoever is writing out these grants for walking trails, for a farmer's market, etc., did they write these grants for a county jail? Other counties throughout the state of Michigan have received grant funding for jail additions, even for a new jail. Yet we can't get approved because I was told it's political, meaning, well, we have Governor Whitmer, a Democrat, we have the Republican-controlled Jackson County Board of Commission. Well, again, it doesn't make sense. If they're approved for a farmer's market grant, but yet not approved for a jail grant, that's not being truthful.
I would say, if anything, so the city of Jackson and much of Jackson County, so it's represented by Kathy Schmaltz in the House, but we're also represented by a Democrat, Sue Schenck, in the Senate. Both of these people are incumbents who are up next year in 2026. And so when you have some interest coming from both houses and from 2 different parties, you'd think, not saying the money would necessarily be easier to get, but it shouldn't be any more difficult to get.
Well, truthfully, I do not believe Mr. Shotwell saying that they've been denied 3 grants for the jail. The reason being, they keep coming to the voters, to the homeowners of Jackson County, requesting jail millages, and they've been denied that 3 times. That's factual. So they're considering putting on another jail millage request, and that'll be on a future ballot, I'm sure, because I was told that they're considering that right now. So when it may happen, I'm not sure. But they keep going to the well. They keep going to the taxpayer well, and they want us to fund fully this new jail, when all that is needed is a jail addition for maximum security and females. So again, they do not need to come to us. They just need to write out that grant application for Lansing, because there's money sitting in Lansing right now that will fund a jail addition. All right.
By the way, in the chat, they're talking, it's a good point. Might be a FOIA request time for those 3 denied grants.
Right.
I think so.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle, but
I was told Sheriff Schutte wrote out the 3 grants that were denied.
Are you
now,
talking about
this is not Sheriff Schutte's job. That's
are you talking about the millages or the millages that got turned down?
3 millages were turned down.
Okay, you said grants, but I just want to make sure we're talking about the same
and
thing.
3 grant applications
that
were written out, I was told, by Sheriff Schutte. Sheriff Schutte's job description does not involve writing out grants.
No,
we have a grant writer somewhere within the county who's done a darn good job, because they keep getting approved for one grant after another. So again, Sheriff Schutte needs to, he doesn't need to be spending time on writing out grant applications. Again, that's part of the reason I don't believe this 3 grant application denial that was placed by Sheriff Schutte. And it wasn't Sheriff Schutte who told me this. It was Steve Shotwell that said Sheriff Schutte has been denied 3 different grant applications. It's not in his job description to be filling out grants and sending them off to Lansing. That's the job of our county administration.
Yeah, there's got to be a grant writer somewhere
And
There is.
in the whole county.
Yeah.
I mean, even if not employed by the county, there's got to be somebody out there.
Right.
I mean,
and,
come on.
and I'm just gonna and you posted something very interesting this week and shows sort of the flip side of this and how sort of political and deceptive the grant writing and receiving process is. That the City of Jackson engineer Troy White, who was on the Bart Hawley show earlier and discussing how, we have these huge costs and needs in terms of replacing the lead lines. And Mr. White admitted that it was grants and forgivable loans that are going to pay for that lead service replacement. Yet nonetheless, the city council has raised water rates something like 170%.
137% since 2017, and that includes sewer and water. And that does not, though, include the last round of increases that the city council voted on a couple months ago for the remainder of 25 and 2026.
Which will be
Double
essentially
digit.
$30
Yes.
a quarter for everyone.
Yep.
On top of whatever baseline they're paying. So
Yep. But speaking of the city council, again, this is all brand new for the most part. Tuesday night, they voted to approve creating a fund.
yes,
And this ties right into those extremely large water rate increases. So they've come to the realization that there's a lot of Jackson residents who cannot afford these water bills. So now they're going to create this fund. And this fund will allow those residents who pay city income taxes. Now, you don't have to live in the city to pay a city income tax.
You just have to work in the city.
Right. So
I did for years.
Yep. So they can check off on that box on their city income tax return if they want to donate a portion or all of their refund to go now towards this newly created water
relief fund.
Water relief
Well, it was
fund.
always only a couple bucks at least when I worked in the city, my refund. So, I mean, how many people are going to opt into that times what, $4 or $5 maybe? I don't know what it is now.
I'm not sure, but currently, and there has been on the income tax return form, and I don't check it, but where you can donate part of your or all of your income tax return to the Jackson Parks and Recreation Department.
I remember
now,
seeing that.
Yep. Now they're going to include this newly created water relief fund also.
Oh,
That won't get checked by myself either.
I think a lot of
Neither
people won't check it.
Well, sure.
Well, and I think if you have any doubt that this is sort of an agenda, this is just the beginning of an agenda that's being rolled out. None other than Daniel Mahoney himself said in that radio interview that this was just a first step. So they'll put it on the tax form. The amount of money they pull, and you told me that the money that they're raising for the parks and trails and so forth is a couple thousand at most.
Oh wow!
So that's not going to be. I mean that is not going to be a. That would hardly that wouldn't take care of more than a handful of people's water bills. Maybe not even a handful. So again, as the mayor himself said, this is just a first step.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds discouraging in a weird way. It's like, oh yeah, just the first step of getting you to give us money to help people. So that way I give them my money, then I can afford my water bill. And then I have to apply for the fund.
Right.
I mean, it's a circle. It's a circle.
Yep. And it's unfortunate. Yeah. There are so many low income residents who cannot afford their water bills.
Yeah.
But it's just not low income anymore. It's those in the
Creeping
middle.
higher.
those retirees who live off of pensions and Social Security that are getting their pension dollars and their Social Security dollars ate up more and more by whether it's a water bill, whether it's a consumer's energy bill, whether it's their property taxes, or whether it's a new millage or an old millage that they have to pay on each and every year. Again, what the Jackson City Council needs to realize is that these water rate increases, these double-digit water rate increases that have been taking place since 2017, leading right up until 2026 now, are unaffordable for most city resident water users.
And it's amazing because I believe I was at the meeting, or maybe I was watched it. Nonetheless, I did watch the meeting where they approved the new $11 a month, essentially a surcharge on top of your water bill. So that would be $30 a quarter. That would be, well, actually over $33 a quarter. It would be approximately $130 or
Mhm. Yeah, $130 annually.
yeah. So essentially, it would be the addition. It's almost like adding an additional water bill. It'd be like a fifth water bill on top of the four quarterly water bills. But it was amazing to watch how very the degree of self-satisfaction that so many members of Jackson City Council had in approving of this and discussing this, because there's we looked around and there's some high water rates at some other places as well. Therefore, this hike is justified.
Oh, that's how they always use justifying a water rate increase, a property tax increase, or even giving the city manager or city attorney a big increase in their salaries, is because cities of the same size and so forth, their city attorneys, their city managers make this much more than our city attorney or city manager in the city of Jackson. So therefore, they're justified in increasing their salaries to better reflect what they say other cities throughout the state of Michigan pay their top officials.
Yeah, and you see this when they do annually. They do the reviews of the salaries and things of that nature. It's the whole rationale, and is always used to just bump them up.
Yep. Okay. Speaking of water relief fund, there's another fund that's
More funds?
more funds that are being created here. Now,
You can't
this
have
one-
fun without fun.
That's correct.
I was trying to
Kevin.
work that in a better way, and I just couldn't make it.
Just recently, Consumers Energy,
Fun.
headquartered right here in the city of Jackson. They formed a partnership with
Satan.
City of Jackson Residents in Action.
Lady Satan.
Residents in Action, nonprofit, founder, CEO, Tasha Carter, to help the city of Jackson residents on the south side, those low-income residents on the south side of Jackson, to help pay their consumers' energy bill. So this newly created fund is not coming out of it indirectly is out of what we pay, our bills, but it's part of Consumers Energy corporate philanthropy. Now, you have to realize their corporate philanthropy receives money, not the philanthropic side of Consumers Energy, but Consumers Energy receives federal dollars to help low-income residents pay their consumers' bills.
Yeah. So once again, we're being asked to duplicate an existing program and outsource it to a very questionable people and a questionable entity. It's like, you know what? Like I said, with 3-Card Monte, it's like the cups never stop spinning.
This justification on consumers' part for why they are creating this new, it is called equity. I'll get to that. Okay, I'll find it. But what this is about is what Consumer says is years of disinvestment on the south side of Jackson. Now, the south side of Jackson is made up mostly of African Americans, our black population in the city.
Yeah, largely.
They mostly make up the south side of Jackson. Has been since the 50s, 60s, 70s, right through today. So Consumers Energy is now saying that the years of disinvestment made to Jackson South Side is their reasoning to create a special fund that will be used again just to help those low-income residents from the South Side pay their consumers' energy bills.
But disinvestment by who?
This is
By
a
the
code
city?
word. This is a code word for systemic racism.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's definitely racism. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't think there's any beating around that bush.
but they're saying disinvestment.
Mm.
Now, the disinvestment
Huh.
started years ago, and it wasn't because of racism. It wasn't because of systemic racism.
Right.
It was because of crime.
Yeah. And no one wants to spend money there because of crime.
The old Francis Street used to be full of, and Prospect Street used to be full of thriving businesses
Yeah,
owned by
I
both
vaguely
blacks
remember
and
that.
whites.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not sure how Consumers Energy can legally do this, where they can offer an aid program and do what's that word that so occupies people like John Wills. This is redlining.
Mm-hmm.
This is redlining. They're redlining people who don't live in certain neighborhoods from receiving a financial assistance. That sounds highly suspect, highly legally suspect, and discriminatory in nature to me.
Yep. This is Consumers Energy. They're woke. This corporate giants white guilt remedy doing their part for this perceived past and present racism that takes place on our city's south side.
And if I'm sorry,
go ahead.
I was going to say, and if all that isn't bad enough, they're choosing to partner with Residents in Action. Residents in Action, their prime mission and purpose, we've been told for the last 3 years, was to run a homeless shelter in the city of Jackson. First, not using the T.A. Wilson building, then utilizing and seeking to purchase, and finally purchasing the T.A. Wilson building for purposes as a homeless shelter. Yet they posted back in May that, well, we need about 6 months to do some deep cleaning and shopping.
After they received how much in the $500,000 grant?
Yeah. There were state grants, and then they got a huge break, essentially an 80% break on the cost of the T.A. Wilson building and the cost of the money that the city sank into it. They got it for $150,000. They got it for pennies on the dollar. And so 3 weeks to the day after the city council meeting, when they marched forward and presented the check, and there were smiles and cameras,
hugs,
and big bear hugs from Jonathan Green. God help us all. 3 weeks to the day, they posted on social media, on Facebook, on their page, that they're basically getting out of the business of providing homeless assistance. They didn't state it in that way, but they said, we're basically going to be discharging people from the shelter for, they said, until cold weather. So it's a long time from the middle of May until the first snowfalls, be that in November or December in Jackson. So again, the credibility and the follow through of these people is poor and lackluster at best. So yeah, this is going to be. This has a very high potential. If anyone from Consumers Energy is listening, there's a high potential for this to leave some serious egg on your face. So this is be a big unforced error on their part.
And this new program that Consumers Energy has created and partnered with Miss Tasha Carter from Residents in Action is called Energizing Equity Jackson. And again, this is going to provide monetary resources specifically targeted for the south side of Jackson. And it's taking those who pay their bills, their Consumers Energy bills, taking part of our money that we pay each month to Consumers Energy and providing it to those low-income individuals who have a hard time paying their Consumers Energy bill.
Almost as if we're supposed to close our eyes and enter the land of make-believe and pretend that the Consumers Energy doesn't have existing programs that they administer, at least in-house, because a lot of this goes back to means testing and proper fiduciary review and things of that nature. So again, they're trying to reinvent the wheel, and with this people and why. I think this goes the fact. I'd be very interested to know how much they pay the people in house to administer at Consumers Energy, because Tasha Carter has asserted that for the work she does running a nonprofit, that her her hourly rate is, I can't remember if it's $125 or $150 an hour, which was approved
That's
by
more than
Jackson
my
City
hourly
Council.
rate.
And now she
I got
will be-
$20,000 invested.
and now she will be paid by Consumers Energy to administer this program for the south side of Jackson. Now let's go back to recent rate increases
Well,
from Consumers Energy.
Real quick, I want to touch on something. My concern with that is okay. So the city's like, well, if you check this box, then you can donate part of your tax. Consumers Energy is just going to add it as a surcharge, and then if you're going to pay it, because if not, they're going to turn your power off.
Mhm.
I mean, it's like all your little surcharges on your cell phone bill. They're just going to add it on there.
Each year they go in front of the Michigan Public Service Commission to request a rate increase, sometimes twice a year. 2023, they received a $155 million rate increase. 2024, a $92 million rate increase. 2025, $154 million rate increase. And in this just last May, they went in front of the Michigan Public Service Commission to request a record-breaking $436 million rate increase on the three of us and those on the south side.
Oh,
And some of this
that
again,
gave me heartburn.
yeah, some of this again, it all filters right on down to those who pay their bills,
Oh, yeah.
and it makes it unaffordable for those many unfortunate low income residents and retirees throughout the city of Jackson, throughout the county, who have a hard time paying their bills.
It's almost like they want us to rely on them, because if they keep raising it up, eventually you have to rely on them, and then they got you under their thumb.
Well, they got us under their
Well, I
thumb.
mean, they
all right,
already
because
do. I mean, what are we going to do?
what's our choice?
So it's kind of a monopoly.
That's called a monopoly, right?
Well,
right.
For
But
some
it-
reason, it's not. But
Yep.
well.
And again, they always ask for this much for a rate increase request
Yeah.
from the Michigan Public Service Commission, and they usually get this much.
Well, because they're smart. That's how you negotiate.
Well, sure. Yeah, right. So, anyways, unfortunately, again, our rates will soon be going up again from consumers. Now, think of it. What have we spoke on today? We have spoke on 3 different new social welfare programs.
Yeah.
Number 1 from the county to assist low income, those low income who are eligible for housing needs. Good program, but it doesn't need to be duplicated. It's already, again, run by the county or the Community Action Agency.
It was working so good. Let's have 2 of them.
I guess so. And whether the demand is there for it or not, I'm not sure. But anyways, so we have that program. That's program that's being created. City Council just Tuesday night created this water relief fund. And just last month, Consumers Energy has created this, what's it called again? Energizing Equity Jackson, which again specifically targets those residents on the south side to help pay their extremely high consumers energy bills.
It's almost like the city's ran by and the county's ran by Democrats or something. Specifically, the city, we know.
Well, we sometimes have to question the county commission also that does have a majority, 7 Republicans and 2 Democrats.
Sure doesn't operate that way.
Yeah.
And it sure doesn't. And
Yeah.
we're going to really find out in less than a month on how they vote to partner with the Enterprise Group and Mr. Ramsey. For
Yeah.
this, yeah.
So eyes on, everyone's eyes on the Jackson County Commission for this upcoming vote. I think John has really at great length has pointed out a lot of just inconsistencies and problems and issues with this. And I really think it should be a hard no for the county commission. It sounds like they can't say no to free money. And I would just only add
Free money that will not cost the county anything.
Yeah, it's going to administrate itself for free. It's magic money.
The magic grant tree. Duh. We've talked about this.
I think that deserves
Will?
Awesome.
That
Hey.
does.
Oh, earlier, Russ in the chat asked for a Wilson drop, but I didn't want to interrupt you guys. So
Hey,
we gotta get that one in.
That looks familiar.
yeah, I know.
All right. Say, Will, anything else?
I would only add when you ran by those 3 similar programs, we're starting to see a little bit of a pattern emerge that concerning the city water relief fund, that there is an existing program where people with delinquent bills can appeal and get relief.
Yes.
So all three of these proposed or impending programs duplicate existing programs, which is highly suspect in itself. So everyone out there, keep your eyes wide open and keep asking questions.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I think we just had a great discussion.
I agree.
Nice, respectful discussion related to county, city, and our good corporate neighbor, Consumers Energy.
Our overlords, you mean?
Our overlords.
I'll
yes.
say it.
Okay.
Our corporate overlords.
Yes. So good discussion. Will, thanks again for joining.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Will.
Kevin,
It's
thank
always a
you
pleasure.
for all
Pleasure to
you
be
do.
here.
The one thing I wanted to bring up is just new to the show. If you guys want to donate to the show, you can donate at ko-fi.com. That's ko-fi.com/HitsHomeJackson. I just got that up and running. You can do it while we're on the air or while we're off the air. So, figure throw that out there.
Maybe I'll go in front of the city council and ask if I can get a little
I
check
know.
off on the city. And
I don't know if Ko-fi takes grants, but I bet you if I email them, I can figure it out.
Okay. All right.
We could use some of that.
Well, thank you for that, Kevin.
Oh yeah.
All right. Great show. And we'll see you again in a couple weeks.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah,
Thanks,
we'll be
everyone.
here. Yeah, thank you guys very much. Thank you again, Will. And it's always a pleasure. So, I'm not ready apparently. The outros I always fumble with, but I got it here. There we go. We're out of here.
You've been listening to a Grandma's Boy Media Production.
Talking all things Jackson, bringing you the news that you need to know. The Heads on Jackson podcast, and we're coming at you live in your city. Jackson, this is your time. Get your news from your neighbor, the people who care, unbiased and uncensored with pride. Broadcasting to you live on the air. Trusted source to tell you what's happening from the city to the county line. All the news that matters. Make your own opinion about the news that affect your life.